Welcome back. It's 8:23 right now. All new in our 8 o'clock hour. Some children so obsessed with their phones, their tablets, that they're actually headed to rehab for it.
What you don't know is Amy actually carried this all the way over here. She has her computer
my laptop,
right here
my phone.
all the time.
I'm working.
She's got a problem, Luann.
I have work to do.
I think she needs rehab. Well, doctors in China, guys, say screen addiction is a clinical disorder, and they've even set up rehab clinics where children go for months to get a digital detox. And the problem is pretty serious here in the U.S. as well. Take a look at these latest figures. The average 8 to 10-year-old here in the U.S. spends nearly 8 hours a day on technology. Older children and teens actually spend up to 11 hours per day. Well, health and wellness expert Dr. Romie joins me now to talk more about it. Thank you so much for coming in. Always good to see you.
Always great, Luann. Thank you for having me.
Okay, China has rehab for kids. Do you think we need something like that here in the States?
Well, let's talk about screen addiction first of all. It is not a formal medical diagnosis, but that doesn't mean that psychiatrists, doctors, and psychologists in the United States do not think this is a health crisis. So a form of rehab for all of our screen addictions, adults and children alike, may just be necessary looking at those figures, Luann.
So is screen addiction pretty much like any other type of addiction, drug, alcohol, things like that?
You know, it's a little bit different because when we are actually talking about an actual addiction like drugs or alcohol, we're feeding into the addiction center of the brain. Looking at screens, whether it's television or computers or smartphones, has a little bit of a different connotation. The addiction likely happens because people are playing games, texting over and over, and that repeated motion can bring on an addiction. However, what's more concerning is the mindless staring at a television screen or video games is actually halting brain development in children, Luann.
So what do you suggest to parents out there? I know I'm dealing with it because it's summer. Kids want to sit in front of the TV. They want to play their video games. What should we be doing to make sure our kids aren't addicted to technology?
First of all, let's be very mindful of the children that are under the age of 5. This is the most critical time for brain development. Children under the age of 5 should not be with screens at all. They really need to be communicating with other people and playing with toys. For the older children, Luann, we always model what our parents are doing. So if we want our children to listen, we need to set boundaries not only for our children, but for ourselves. One of the things that I advise to patients always is get your children involved in planning activities, physical activities, either outdoors or indoors, that do not involve television or a computer screen at all. I know it's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, children need human contact, not that one artificially created by a screen.
Always great advice. Dr. Romie, thank you so much for coming in.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right.